Welcome into Jets Overtime, presented by SiriusXM. We're starting off today's show with some sad, tragic news. Jets legend Nick Mangold has suddenly passed away, and the Jets released this statement earlier this morning. The New York Jets are deeply saddened to share the news of the untimely passing of Nick Mangold, one of the most iconic and beloved players in franchise history. Nick was the cornerstone of the Jets' offensive line for 11 unforgettable seasons. A 7-time Pro Bowler and a 2-time All-Pro, he brought unmatched toughness, intelligence, and heart to every snap. But beyond the accolades and the fierce play on the field, Nick was a leader, a teammate, and a friend whose impact extended far beyond the locker room. His legacy is etched into the very fabric of our organization. From his first day in green and white to his induction into the Jets Ring of Honor, Nick represented everything it means to be a Jet. With pride, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to excellence, we extend our deepest condolences to Nick's family, friends, and all those whose lives he touched. He will forever be part of the Jets family. Rest in peace, Nick. Now, Quincy, I want to give you the floor to talk about your teammate, who I know you played with for a few seasons.
Yeah, it's really sad that this happened. I mean, I think the worst part about it is that it feels like it happened so fast for all of us. We just found out about the kidney thing, and now you turn around and something like this happens. So, myself, my family, we're all sad because this is a guy that has been around for so long, around all of us. Not only as a player did I really get to know him, but now after the game, he's worked with us here. I've had opportunities to really go out and speak with him, speak around him, watch him speak. And this is just a guy whose energy is infectious. Everybody around him loves him, his smile, his energy. So, for us to have lost somebody like that and for a family man to no longer be around, I think I speak for Jets Nation in saying that this is, the saddest thing that can happen today.
Yeah, Q, that was really beautifully said. Thank you for that. I don't think there's any easy way to transition from this to the game that we just saw, but I will say the one thing that I truly thought was a miracle was the Jets getting their first win just 45 miles away from where Nick Mangold was actually born, in Centerville, Ohio. So, from all of us here with the Jets at One Jets Drive, this win was 100% for Nick Mangold.
Yeah.
So let's start with this game, because the Jets offense, Justin Fields, has his best game statistically with the green and white. He threw for 21 passes with 244 yards and 1 touchdown and a rushing touchdown. Yeah. What can you say on how well he was playing? I
mean, the offense, and what a day for the offense to play well, right? When you have a guy like Nick Mangold to be in the news. I think this is great for these guys. They had a huge moment. I think the week was filled with so much trials and tribulations, as Justin Fields would say, right? And so for today, for all that to come out and them to be as successful as they did, they knew that the Bengals was a poor defense, so to come out and continue to run the ball, I love that Tanner Engstrand stuck with it. We got to see Breece Hall have an amazing day. 2 touchdowns on the ground and a throwing pass, right? And he can pass.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a guy that can do it all for you. We talk about him being a dual threat running back, right? A guy that you can catch and run the ball, but now he showed us he can also throw it. An exciting day, and I think it's exactly the way it needed to go.
What was the biggest difference for you when you were just watching this offense today? They went for 2 two-point conversions. They got both of them. They were just firing on all cylinders, it felt like. What was that difference?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing was the play calling, right? I think they played a little bit more loose. There was a lot of exciting plays that we got to see today. It was a follow-up from last week, right? At the end of the game, we saw a little bit of pizzazz, a little bit of extra stuff going on. I think this week he wanted to do some more of that. I also love that he got Justin Fields involved early in the run game, right? He had that quarterback sweep on the outside, one of the first 3 plays, right? Then after that, he had a couple other plays for him, a lot of play action, some screens involved, right? It was a very it was just way more options, way more plays than usual. I love the route that they went.
Yeah, and you were talking about the run game. We're watching it now. Big plays by Breece Hall, also Isaiah Davis. What did you see from them that had been missing maybe in earlier weeks?
I don't know. I think they were just really playing inspired football. I talked about in the pregame show that this is what they needed to do, was to play inspired football, and this is what it looks like, right? When you have these type of plays, guys straining, making plays that you don't normally see from them. He's falling down, almost sacked, right? Gets the opportunity to throw it to his guy, and he makes a diving catch. Tip hits over the line, and they get that 2-point conversion, right? These are the plays that you need in order to win games, right? Regardless of what's happening on the other side of the field, offensively, right? If you continue to strain and show that you're willing to get that last scrap, those are the ways you win games.
This was the final stat line for all of the running backs and just the rushing yards of the game, because Justin Fields is up there as well. 254 total yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. It was phenomenal work by them. It was something that I feel like we had been missing since week one. I will say the first half, there were 73 total rush yards, and then they ended the game with 254. So you were right, really, about Tanner Engstrand. He called 70 plays for this offense, 502 total yards.
Amazing
so
day.
what does that say about just how the offense not only stuck with that plan that they wanted to go with, the run game, but then how it just kind of evolved throughout the game?
Well, I think this is a confidence booster, not just for the players, but also for Tanner Engstrand, that he can do it. This is an NFL team, regardless of what their rankings were before the game. This is an NFL team. You did this against an NFL team. You belong here, right? And that's one thing they have to kind of go into this bye week believing, is that they belong. They can do this week after week. It's just about continuing to play with the effort that they played with today. Even defensively, right? Even though they gave up as many points as they gave up, they found a way to shut down those guys when it really mattered.
Yeah.
Both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins were completely out of the game. They had to go to the next guy. Ilyasovas had an opportunity, could not come up with it. Chase Brown started to make some big plays in the first half, but slowed down in that second half. So it was really a tale of two halves defensively, and offensively, these guys just continued on that tear that they started with.
Yeah, we just saw how Justin Fields was absolutely slinging the ball today. It was incredible. Tyler Johnson stepped up big for the wide receivers because, as we knew going into this game, Josh Reynolds and Garrett Wilson both out. What did you like about his play? Because he had only 3 receptions, but for 64 yards
plays.
and a touchdown. The first touchdown in the first half for the Jets since week 1.
Yeah, no, amazing. I think I'm excited because the Jets needed somebody to step up, and so good for the veteran to show exactly what it looks like, right? In the zones, he was finding those holes open in there. They did a good job with the play action pass. I spoke about that. But then you're talking about a guy that, again, knows where to be and where the quarterback needs him to be. So great for him. I mean, even Lazard came up with a couple of plays. But I love that Mason Taylor, right? We got to see a little bit more of him. He was making some great catches. He had the touchdown catch, right? You know, going up, mossing the guy. Right? That's a huge confidence booster. I'm always talking about that because this game is completely mental, right? And after a while, you saw those guys continue to get beat down because they're not making plays. So this right here is a huge confidence booster.
100%. Now, before we head to Cincinnati, I just want to give out a little bit of a shout out to the unsung heroes who I feel like always go unsung. Special teams.
Yes.
Isaiah Williams returned 5 kickoffs for 132 yards. That was an incredible game for him returning.
Definitely.
And then, of course, Nick Folk, 3 field goals, 2 extra points. He made all of them. He's Mr. Reliable.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I think they also deserve their flowers because they really helped those extra little miles go a long, long way for the Jets. Okay. All right, let's head to Cincinnati and check in with Eric Allen, who briefly caught up with Breece Hall after the game. All right, Jets fans, clear the runway. The New York Jets are ready for takeoff against the Cleveland Browns. Be there at MetLife Stadium on Sunday, November 9th at 1 p.m. to experience the action and energy of Jets game day. Don't miss out locking your seats at nyjets.com/tickets. All right, let's get into our quick game summary and kind of watch how this entire game unfolded because this was an incredible game, but also just kind of crazy. Yeah. Quincy, we're going to go with your film breakdown.
Okay, let's do it. So this is the first touchdown. This is what I talked about with the play action pass. So you see the play action there. You get an opportunity to bring the linebackers up, and then look at this space right here, right? I'm going to show the other angle, but it's a great job. You're continuing to run the ball. It forces these guys to go out there and try to stop the run. So here is a good job by your veteran receiver finding this gap. The play action brings everybody up. You see these guys creating a huge space, and I love the effort afterwards of those guys pushing and straining to get that first down. Then here, this is the touchdown, right? So this is a good job. I love this because this is a man beater. They knew they were going to be in man coverage here. So you see right here, he could have gone to Mason Taylor. He chose to go to the corner, but both guys are open. And in the pressure in his face, this is something that he's been having to deal with. He still throws a perfect pass to that corner. And a great job by Tyler Johnson to come down with that pass. That
was just like an insane. When you see it from the angle, that second angle, you have 27 coming at him in the face. You have one option there, but he takes the risk and he goes for the end zone. I loved that out of him. He was playing out of his mind
Yes.
today. It was an incredible game for Justin Fields and so fun to watch. Let's go through the entire game summary now, and we'll see how this entire thing unfolded, because start to finish, this was a crazy game.
Yeah.
So let's start in the second quarter when it's 10-0. The Jets finally get on the board with a field goal. But that next drive, Joe Flacco wide open to T. Higgins. Massive
slow
game.
start for the team, but man, this was a big play for them. Obviously, it allowed them to get ahead even further.
And then we just watched that play with Tyler Johnson getting a 15-yard pass from Justin Fields. That puts them on the board, and they're down 17-10 after a made field goal. And then right before halftime, the Bengals are not letting it get away. It's Chase Brown runs it in for the touchdown.
Yeah, this was kind of scary. I thought they were going to pull away here. This was right before the half.
The Jets were able to make a field goal, so they trailed 24-13 at halftime. Now we go to the fourth quarter. This was also insane because they're down 31-16. Breece Hall runs it in for his first touchdown of the season. They go for two, and they get it.
Yeah.
Then this is the two-point conversion here.
Great play.
I was screaming the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
I had no idea what was going to happen. Justin Fields runs it in, makes it happen. Then Joe Flacco gives it off to Chase Brown again. They go up 38-24. And then after a Breece Hall touchdown and a two-point conversion, they have the ball with just 2 minutes to go. It's Breece Hall, the quarterback, and
Yes.
Mason Taylor mossing him.
What a great
an
play.
incredible play. This was actually the score that ends up sealing the deal. And this was the first time the Jets led all game 39-38. The Bengals did get the ball back with 1 minute and 54 seconds to go. So I think everyone was a little nervous about this, but defense, man, they stepped up big time.
Stepped up huge. I mean, being down 2 scores for the majority of the game, to still come in and make this play right here at the end of the game, credit to these guys, credit to their resilience.
And the Jets came away with their first win of the 2025 season after this massive play by
Mason Brownlee.
Jarvis Brownlee. He had a massive pass breakup right there. They get that win. It seals the deal. They end up getting the ball back on offense, but they'll just kneel it out to end the game. And it's Aaron Glenn's first win as a head coach in the NFL. The Jets go on to 1-7 as they go into their bye week. So just a lot of really good things out of this game. That is, I mean, I've never played in the NFL. I know you're the one to ask, but how good is it to go into the bye week with a win?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, I think especially after you've lost so many games, I think when you get an opportunity to go into the bye week, now you can enjoy it, right? Like there's going to be so many moments if you would have lost that game. Even I think everybody in the building, even the fans, right, to have another week to not have any football and to come off with that sour taste in your mouth, I don't think any of us would have enjoyed that. So to now have a win, you get a chance to go and relax. If you did have a vacation set up, you can go enjoy that vacation, really reset and get ready for this other half of the season where now you try to maybe flip the record.
Yeah, flip the script a little bit and just kind of, I like that reset, really mentally just kind of wipe whatever happened in those first 8 games, go off of this last one and really build from this foundation that they set going into the bye. Okay, so in your opinion, what was the turning point of this game for you?
Yeah, so I looked it up, right? I already had my opinion on what the turning point was, but when I looked it up, we had a 3% chance to win the game at this point right here, right?
Okay.
And it's that 4th down. So we're going to get a chance to watch it here. But, man, this was a great play on 4th down. You think that it's going to be a run. And play action, right? We talked about play action. You get the play action to Rucker, and Rucker does it all with his legs. Good job breaking the tackle, getting some more yards. Again, one thing that they did today is they really strained. Everybody was going for those extra yards. Everybody was fighting, and I think that's something that we want to see for the rest of the season is that resilience, that fight, because that's what you need in order to call back into this.
3% chance to win there.
Man.
Oh, my goodness. That was incredible. You were talking about the run-pass option.
Yeah.
Now, we're about to hear from a very emotional Justin Fields about the adversity he faced this week. How much did you just appreciate what you heard from him post-game and just the honesty that he really brought forth in the struggle that was this past week?
Yeah, I mean, he's a leader. I think ultimately that's the biggest thing I get from him is that he's a leader. No matter what happens, he's always able to put it on his back. He puts all his credit to God, and he goes out there and it doesn't matter what you say about him or to him, he's going to make sure that he takes it all on the chin and goes out to his guys and make sure that they know, listen, I'm here for you guys. So I love what he's doing. I love that as tough of a week as he had, he came out there and played lights out.
All right, that was great. Well said. Let's go to Bob Wischusen, who caught up with quarterback Justin Fields after the game. We heard from Justin saying that his offensive line didn't allow him to get sacked all game today. But you know who did get a sack? Will McDonald.
Yes.
That was a thing of beauty. Couldn't have been timed better. What did you think of just that kind of the way the defense really rallied in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough to sack Joe Flacco in the first half, and you could tell that he was finding his spots. He was picking and pocketing, right? But then in that second half, I love that these guys started to do some games on the defensive line, but also on the secondary, they did a good job of locking down, right? You're seeing these guys getting these PBUs, right? Getting in the pass lanes, right? Going through, I mean, Quincy Williams, what a great play there. But overall, I think they did a great job of locking down the receivers. Double-double. I talked about it in the pregame show, right? If you have two great receivers, you've got to double those guys. It's something that Bill Belichick did a lot, and Coach talked about it a little bit in his postgame interview, was that, you know, the Patriots love to take away your two top guys, and that third guy has to come up and make a play. And that didn't happen today for the Bengals, and that's why the Jets won.
Yeah, what did you think of how the Jets really measured up to the task of defending Jamar Chase and T. Higgins without their all-pro cornerback, Sauce Gardner?
Yeah, well, they had to settle in a little bit. I think in the beginning it was looking a little shaky. It was a little scary. I wasn't sure if they knew exactly what was the best way to stop them. You know, Jamar Chase had about 11 targets in that first half. But in that second half, it really slowed down for them. I think it was hard because Joe Flacco was looking for his spots. But then again, when you have that double-double there, that cornerback might look like he's giving away one angle, but then that safety comes in and takes that away. So it's a great job, a great scheme. It makes it tough on the quarterback because he's going to have to go to his guys. And when 1 and 2 are taken away, once you get to 3, that pass rush is already on you.
Right, 100%. I did look it up. In the first half, Jamar Chase had 8 receptions for 61 yards.
Yeah.
By the end of the game, he had 12 receptions for 91 yards. So in the second half, he was limited to just 4 receptions for 30 yards.
Right.
That was incredible play by the secondary and just the Jets defense overall. We saw a little bit of Quincy Williams being back in action. How much of a boost did he give to this defense being back in the game?
Yeah, I mean, he was, even though he was only the third leading tackler, he was the energy boost that they needed, right? We saw Jermaine Johnson come in, and he almost helped push these guys to a win against Denver. But now we got to see Jermaine Johnson and Quincy Williams in the game. They really pushed it over the top for this team. You know, if you look at the score, you're going to think, well, the defense didn't play that great. But honestly, the Bengals did a lot of their damage in the first half, right? Especially right before going into halftime. After that, it was really back and forth. The offense did a good job of kind of keeping the ball and taking away some of that time for the Bengals.
Now, just overall, how perfectly timed do you think that this bye week is? Because when we were coming into this game, we were talking about the injury report and looking at how banged up everybody was. If this defense got a boost with just Quincy Williams coming back, imagine everybody from that injury report, or ideally everybody from the injury report, coming back after this bye week and really just energizing the entire team, offense and defense.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I think you think about all the injuries that are going on right now. When you can get Garrett Wilson back with Justin Fields playing at this level. You can get Sauce Gardner back with their defense playing at this level. It's a completely different team. Now, you can make the argument that those guys were playing at the beginning of the year, but I think the team, who they are now, going through their adversity and having this win, changes the whole makeup of who they are, their identity, right? I think these guys believe that they can make these wins. In the beginning of the season, they thought, okay, once they had that Steelers game, they were like, okay, we belong here. We should have won that game. But after a while, guys were starting to lose confidence and hope. And I think something switched for them. And now you can see that they really believe that they can really get some wins.
Yeah, I love that because that mentality carries you so far in this league. All right, let's hear from EA because he actually caught up with that defensive spark plug, Quincy Williams. All right, are you the ultimate Jets fans? The New York Jets are celebrating the most passionate and committed fans of the game with the annual Fan Hall of Fame presented by Ticketmaster. Submit your nomination at nyjets.com/Fan Hall of Fame. Terms apply. Now, Q, we just heard Quincy Williams. He's got incredible one-liners. I think we were talking about that pregame. It's almost like he's reading from a book of quotes.
No, seriously, he's got a line for everything. But I mean, I think what I love about it is that he takes the time to really learn those things to give them to his guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and honestly, they are very contagious. I hear a lot of guys on the team talking and saying those phrases after he says them.
Right.
All right, let's hear from Aaron Glenn with his first win speech as a head coach. Oh, that just made me so happy. I'm like sitting here smiling cheek to cheek. There were a lot of bleeps, I think, because of just how electric that atmosphere in the locker room was post-win. What did you think of AG and just how he's been through it all, but he's stayed strong and stayed just kind of himself through it all?
Oh, man, I love it. I think when you think about being in those locker rooms, getting those big wins, there's nothing like it. The energy that everybody has is really infectious. You can't even really explain it. It's just a high that you can never come back to. You want to keep chasing it. And I hope these guys do keep chasing that because this is something that they need to feel every game.
Yeah, how do they continue to chase it and continue this upward tick offensively, defensively as they return from their bye week?
They got to continue to play hard, play harder than they've ever played before. I think one thing that I've noticed about Justin Fields is that you can tell when he's playing inspired football. That first game, you really felt it, and this game as well, right? So continue to come back to that, playing fast. It all starts from him. So if he can do that, I think the rest of the team will follow suit.
Any final thoughts other than those that you just gave me about this
honestly,
team?
Man, these guys got to enjoy it, get back healthy, come back after the bye week, and then you've got a Browns team at home, right?
Yeah, that's a perfect tee-up for our upcoming schedule. So you won't see the Jets next weekend, next Sunday, Thursday, Monday, whatever. You won't see them. They're on their bye. It's perfect timing, in my opinion. Then they will come back home at MetLife Stadium. They're hosting the Browns. That's a 1 p.m. kickoff, and it's a quick turnaround. Just a few days later, they head up to Foxborough to take on the Patriots. So that little stretch there will be tough as they return from their bye. But, they're going to enjoy this Week 9 bye, and that's all that matters. Before we close out today's show, we just want to say that we're thinking of Nick Mangold. We want to honor him and his family. They're all in our thoughts and prayers. And from everyone here at One Jets Drive, we love you, Nick.